Hello, hello. Go live here on Instagram. Oh, my goodness. Hello, hello. If you're just joining, let me know where you're checking in from while I get Instagram live popping. If you're joining from my Facebook group, from my LinkedIn group, welcome. Come on in. Let me know where you're checking in from. I'm going to go live on Instagram as well. Hey, checking in from Miami. Hey, Miami. One of my favorite cities. Welcome, welcome. If you're just checking in, let me know where you're checking in from. Hey, checking in from Georgia. I see you, Miami. Welcome, welcome. So glad to have you on. Hey, Sheena. Okay, well, listen, it's 5:02. I'm not trying to keep everybody. So if you're checking in late, let me know where you're checking in from. If you're catching a replay, you can just type replay in the comments. But today we are going to be talking about how to launch and run your TC business on a budget. What I love most about this business is that it does not require a lot of overhead. It doesn't require that you purchase uh, every shiny thing that is put or dangled in front of you. You can do this, fairly cheaply. You can actually do it with no frills at all, and that would be so. I would say that there are three tiers to launching your TC business or running your TC business. There's free or close to free. There's basic, and then there's, I would say, elevated way to run your business. And even the top tier, the elevated way to run your business, is still fairly inexpensive, comparatively speaking, with other businesses. So we'll go over all three of those tiers today. When I started my business by accident in 2016, I didn't have any automations. I didn't have anything that I have now. And I want you to, if you guys have pen, paper, I want y'all to take notes on this. Just remember that with the three tiers, if you're just joining, we just talked about there's three tiers of how you can run your business as a TC. There is free, there's basic, and there's elevated. So just keep in mind that the least amount of money that you spend running your TC business, the least amount of automations that you're going to have and the more work you're going to have to do. It's not impossible, but just know that. Okay. So when I started my business back in 2016, it was kind of by accident. I didn't even know that a TC even existed. I just started naturally doing this for my mentor. And when I did it, I literally found a KW checklist, a contract to close checklist online. And I kind of made it into my own based off of the Georgia contracts that I was working on at the time. And there were paper checklists. I bought a binder. I didn't even buy a binder. I had a binder. I had a 3-hole punch. And I would just copy blank copies of this checklist, and I would have them in my binder. And then I would just kind of have one checklist for each deal that I did. I would handwrite the buyer name, seller name, the dates, and all of that. And I would just check things as they happen. So I did that for like 2 years. And I had a pretty high volume of work to do, even though I only had one client at the time because I had not really launched my business. I was just working with my mentor. So I only had, I didn't have any automations, and I had a lot of volume, and it still worked. And so I would have to manually do everything. So that is the cost of free. The cost of free is that you may not have the time freedom, to actually do things without feeling like you're going to go insane. So the cost of free, there is a cost associated with free. Okay. So let's start talking about, I'm just going to kind of go down the list of the things that you need in kind of the low cost way and kind of the mid range way. Even if you are at the top rung of this business with all of the shiny things in the business, I still don't think that it's very expensive. So starting off, let's talk about marketing your business. So I am not a big proponent of going out, running and getting a website, like having a designer design a, couple $1,000 website as a TC business owner. So I would not recommend that if you are a new TC. As a matter of fact, I created my own website when I started, and I did it on Wix, and it was pretty inexpensive, but you still have to pay for hosting and things like that. And it is of my belief that if you're going to have a website, it needs to be lead generating. It cannot just be online for information purposes only. Nobody cares, to just see what you offer on a website. I just don't think that the return on investment is there for a website. So I did my website on Wix myself, but again, the cost of that was my time for creating it. I had like 4 pages on my website. That's kind of a lot. Nobody needs 4 pages on their website anymore. And so I actually gave up my website at the top of this year. So if you want a website, cool. But if you're going to do one, I would probably say a 1-pager is enough. And there needs to be a way to generate leads. There needs to be a way for somebody to come on your website and have to give you their email address in order to get something of value from your website. So again, if you want to spend money on a website, you can, but I would say that is something that would be down the line or not at all. But you may want to go ahead and get a domain name. A domain name is like $12 a year. So when you decide on what your business name is going to be, check to see if that domain name is available. And if it is, you may want to go ahead and cop that. Even whether you use it immediately or not, go ahead and copy your domain name because it's only $12 a year. I see some more people have checked in. I see Atlanta's in the house. Hey, welcome, welcome. If you're just joining in, let us know where you're checking in from. Also, we've gone over the 3 tiers for which you can run your TC business. You can run it for free. You can run it a basic level, and you can run it elevated. And we're going to talk about all 3. Just know that the least amount of money that you spend, the least amount of automations you'll have, and the more work you're going to have to do. Okay. All right. So let me get a fire emoji in the chat if you guys are still with me so far. Okay. Let me see. Y'all sleep. Let's see. I see you. Okay. Good. All right. So we talked about the domain name. The domain name is more so for maybe if you want to do a landing page. And that is basically a landing page is simply a page that, has a space for them to put their email address, their phone number, and you're giving them something of value in order to get that information. Your main thing is to get people on your email list so that you can market to them your services. So you may want your domain name for that. The second thing that I'm going to talk about is creating graphics. You can do, and to go back to landing pages, you can actually create a landing page on Canva. How many of you guys are familiar with Canva? Let me get a thumbs up if you have worked with Canva. Let's see. Who's worked with Canva for graphics and things like that? Anybody? So Canva, they have different tiers. They have a free tier where they give you, just kind of some basic graphics and things like that. But just for like, let's see, how much is Canva? $12.99 a month. You can get their pro feature for Canva, and you'll have access to much better features, much better graphics. Okay, I see a lot of people have worked with Canva. The Pro is what I have because I found that it gives you more access to things. You have more access to better graphics. You can also remove backgrounds of photos. Like, you will be a full-fledged graphic designer messing with Canva, okay? It's once you figure your way around Canva, you can use it for your social media posts. You can create landing pages. You can actually, I think, create a website on there if you wanted to. You can just do so much in Canva. And for $12.99 a month, you really can't beat that. But in Canva, you can even create like a lead magnet that will get people interested in what you have to offer. Like, let's say for TCs, our ideal clients are busy real estate agents, right? So maybe you create a lead magnet that's like, here are everybody loves lists. So how about, here are, 5 cardinal mistakes that most agents are making in their transactions, or here are 5 mistakes that I see agents making in there, whatever it might be. Make it catchy that, it's going to pique an agent's interest. But in order for them to get it, they have to give you their email address and maybe their phone number. So that is what a lead magnet is. So you can kind of think of things like that and kind of promote those in your bio and get more agents on your list to hopefully want to get on a call with you. So anyway, those are some marketing costs that you might expect on a basic level. A domain name, because you never know, even if you're not using it right this second, if your TC name gets taken down the line, then you're going to be stuck. You're not going to have it. So go ahead and reserve that domain name as soon as you name your business. So we talked about your domain name is about $12 a year to renew that annually. And then Canva is like $12.99 a month. So that's pretty inexpensive for your marketing. And then you can do all of your marketing online on social media, which is free, right? So the next thing I want to talk about is, once your graphics have attracted your ideal clients, they're going to need a way to reach out to you. They're going to need a way to get more information from you and hopefully become a client. So for me, I use a scheduler, and I actually use my scheduler kind of as my landing page. My landing page, or my value that I'm giving, is from doing things like this, doing lives, doing videos, doing reels. And then at the end of each of those, I'll have a call to action, or a CTA. A call to action is basically saying, hey, click the link in my bio to schedule an appointment. That would be a call to action. And then the link in my bio would be to my Calendly. Now, you can also have your Calendly linked to your domain name. Instead of having it being a Calendly domain name, you can have your Calendly pointing towards your business domain name. So that way it's easy for clients to remember, how to get in touch with you without even having to go to the bio all the time. So Calendly is going to run you about $15 a month for the automations. The Calendly is free in general, but the free package does not give the automations that you'll need in your business. So for $15 a month, what happens with my client journey is, a client will say, hey, how can I get in touch with you? They'll click the link to Calendly. They'll be able to see my schedule, and they'll be able to pick a time that works for them. As soon as they pick that time, I get a text message and an email saying, hey, this person has scheduled this time with you. It puts it on my calendar. And then the same happens with that client. That client gets an email confirmation. 5 minutes before the meeting, they get a reminder. I get a reminder. And then after the meeting, or I have it set up for during the meeting, they'll get an email from me saying, hey, here are the next steps. It was great chatting with you. In order to work together, you'll just need to click this link so that you can update your logins, your login credentialing form. And then here is the link to my service agreement. I'm looking forward to working with you. I don't care if we didn't come up with, if we didn't decide to work together right at that moment, they're still going to get that automated email. This makes it so much easier to run your business so that when you get off the phone with them, you can go on about the things that you have to do for the rest of your day. Now, the free way, how I did this for more than 2 years, was I would get an email from somebody saying, hey, I'm interested in your service. And then we go back and forth on the scheduling. We'd finally schedule a time to talk. We'll get on the phone and talk. They're interested in my services. Okay, cool. Now I have to stop everything that I'm doing. Even in the midst of such a busy day, I'm still working in my business as a TC, but now I've got to either stop or remember late at night to remember to send them my service agreement and to remember to send them my login credentialing form. So with it being automated, it helps so much. Now, I will say this, if you're just starting off and you don't have a lot of clients yet, you don't have to run and do this right now. But, if you have $15 a month to invest in it and it wouldn't be an issue for you, maybe it makes sense for you to go ahead and do it. Get ready now so you don't have to get ready. So let me know in the chat if that makes sense to you guys and if you have any questions about that part of the client journey. All of this is about the client journey. You want to have a way for each part of the journey to feel professional and to feel like the client is being touched and taken care of at each part of the journey. So these are things that kind of help facilitate those things. You can do it manually, but we are human. We forget, things come up, we get sidetracked. So automations for me are completely necessary now. I don't know how I did it before, to be honest with you. So there's another scheduler out there. It's called Acuity. I do use Acuity a little bit, but I use Calendly more. I really like their automations. And you can actually even use Calendly as a CRM. So every business, write this down, needs a CRM. A CRM is a customer relationship manager, and it basically keeps track of everybody that you talk to so that you can remember to follow up. Because with business, the success and the treasure is in the follow-up. So you have to have a way to know who you talk to, when you talk to them, and things like that. And so there are a lot of CRMs out on the market. My mentor to this day still is she's not anti-CRM. She has a CRM, but it is using her own system on like her Outlook, using her email system. She creates folders, things like that. That's cool, but there are no automations. So that may be okay for you to start off with, but eventually you're going to want something that's going to be able to keep track of the people you talk to so that you can easily go back and see where you left off with them and things like that. So with that being said, I have been playing around with a system called Honeybook. So I still use Calendly for my scheduling, but with Honeybook, they don't have to click a link to get to like my service agreement and things like that. And it also keeps track of who I talk to. It sends them reminders if they have not signed it. Because what I was having happen sometimes is I would send that link through Calendly, and before they even signed the service agreement, they were already sending me work, and then I would forget that the service agreement was outstanding. So Honeybook is another one that you guys can look at. Now that one is a little bit pricey at $39 a month. So that may not be something that you would need to start off with. To start off with, you can actually keep using Calendly, and you can have it tie into your Google Sheets. And your Google Sheets, you can train your Google Sheets to keep track of all of your contacts that come through Calendly. And you can do that through an app called Zapier or Zapier, which is another app that it basically integrates the different systems that you use. So you can use Calendly. The person comes in through Calendly, and then have Zapier create a Zap so that anytime a person comes in through your Calendly, it would automatically create an entry on your Google Sheet. Okay? Does that sound confusing, or does that make sense? Let's see. I got some thumbs up. Okay. I'm just checking. If you guys have any questions, you guys can go ahead and put the questions in now, and I'll get to them at the end. Okay. All right. So, where are we? Discovery calls. So, again, Calendly is the scheduler for your discovery call. The discovery call is okay. We got some make sense. Good, good, good. Glad it's making sense. So, the discovery call is how you get the client signed up. And so, I one mistake that I've had, or not mistake, but I just use my regular phone number when I'm communicating with clients, which is fine. But I think what I would have done differently, and what I may even continue to do now, because I do have this already in place, I think that I would recommend that you use Google Voice, which is free when you have Google Workspace, which I'll get into that in a minute as well. But you can have a free Google Voice number, a free local number, and use that number to communicate with clients. The Google Workspace that I was talking about, that is what's going to have everything. It's going to have your Gmail. It's going to include your Drive. Your Drive is it's like your hard drive. Your Google Meet. So you can, instead of having Zoom meetings, if you want to have your discovery call face to face or virtually, you can do it on Google Meet. It has your Google Calendar, your Google Docs. So Google Docs is like Microsoft Word. Google Sheets is like Microsoft Excel, and Forms. You can get all of that for I think it's $12 a month. You can't beat that. And you can get Google Voice with that. So that's like a business in a box as well. So really, you can use your CRM in Google Sheets, like I mentioned before. So the next thing, so that's another $12. So I don't know where we are tallied up yet, but I don't even think we've made it to $100 a month yet. So this is a really low cost business, but you can operate it like an enterprise. Like you can really make it to where your clients feel like they're talking to a professional business when they're reaching out to you. Okay, so we talked about marketing. We talked about attraction and discovery calls. The client wants to work with you. Now we talk about onboarding the client. So we talked a little bit about HoneyBooks and CRM. Your service agreement, you need a way to send your service agreement. So like I said, I used to just email it. You do need like a signing, some sort of electronic signing platform, like DocuSign or HelloSign or something like that. And so I used to like send my service agreement to my clients like that, but now I use HoneyBook because it's all inclusive. Intake form. So the intake form is the form that's going to they have to share their logins with you in order for this to work. So there has to be trust there, and they have to share this information with you. They would feel a lot more comfortable sharing it with you if you had an actual form for this, not you sending an email saying, hey, I need your login, and piecemealing and say, hey, yeah, can I get your MLS login? Or, no, create a form, a nice form with your logo, with your, make it professional and send that to them. So JotForm is actually, you could do up to like 5 forms for free with JotForm. And so on my intake form, or I call it a login credentialing form, but it really is an intake form. It includes their name, it includes their birth date, because sometimes I want to send gifts to them. It includes their address so that I can mail things to them if I want to. And then it includes all of their login credentials. So we need to be able to get into their MLS. We need to be able to know where their documents are housed. So all of this is in that form, and JotForm is free. So again, free 99. We're not even at $100 yet. And then you can take it one further, and JotForm integrates automatically with Google Forms. So again, with your CRM you can have a list of your existing clients as a part of your CRM, and you can have it in your Google Forms as your existing clients. So as a CRM, so you can see everybody that is currently a client of yours in one place, and it automatically goes into that. Once you push the button on JotForm, it automatically integrates with Google Forms. So again, this is the whole ecosystem for your client onboarding process, your client's journey. There's a whole ecosystem for that. And I don't care how little you spend, it needs to look professional and it needs to feel like an enterprise. Just because you're not spending a lot of money doesn't mean you can half-ass this and be unprofessional, in my opinion. Okay, so we've gotten through marketing, we've gotten through scheduling, we've gotten through onboarding. So your transaction management system. So now they're a client, right? How are you going to manage their transactions? That's the hardest part of everything. Now that you've gotten them as a client, you better not drop the ball now, right? So what transaction management are you going to use? System are you going to use? So basic or free would be an Excel sheet or your Google Sheets, right? That would mean you would need to create a sheet yourself based off of what the things are that you're tracking. If you're good at Excel, this may work for you. But that would be the free way. Again, when I first started for over 2 years, I created sheets myself, but I printed them out and made them hard sheets, and I just checked off. Like, to be honest, there is something to be said about being able to just check off a piece of paper. So I did that for over 2 years, had high volume doing that. So that's possible. You can do it online using a sheet. They do have ways with systems like Trello and other property management systems. I can't think, A-Frame is another one. These are not specific to transaction coordinating, but you can customize it so that it can be for transaction coordinating. I have not used this, but there are plenty of YouTube videos on how you can actually make those systems work for you as a transaction coordinator. I'm also not sure how much it costs. I actually have Trello, and I feel like it's free, but I think I have some sort of add-on. But I think if you're a new TC, like, you could probably create what you need to create for free. Now, what I recommend, because it's really not that expensive, is a transaction management system, an online system made by developers specifically for transaction coordinators. So there are several out there. You've got Paperless Pipeline, you've got TC Workflow, Easy Coordinator. There's a lot. Even Dotloop, which I'm not a fan of, but a lot of our agents use Dotloop. But I use something called the TC Docs. And I like it because it's easy to set up and it has automations. So it automatically integrates with Google. So when I put in my dates on the system, it will automatically add those to my calendar as well as my clients' calendars. It also reminds me of what's due when. It puts it in red if it's overdue. Like, these things help to facilitate your business so that you're not missing anything. The thing about doing it the basic way is that it's not foolproof. You're human. And once your volume starts to go up, you would not always be able to rely on your own memory. Also, if you're looking to scale your business, paper and doing the basic way will not be something that's going to work, right? So TC Docs runs me about $65 a month. So again, you can see I'm telling you, like, these are pretty much all of the systems I use for that business. And I don't think we probably have made it just right at $100 a month. It's very inexpensive. So to do a quick rundown, let me get a thumbs up in the chat if you guys are still with me. I'm going to do a quick recap and then I'm going to take some questions. I really didn't want this one to be super long, but I want it to be packed full of information for y'all. So let me get a thumbs up or a fire. Okay, I see you. Okay, y'all make sure you put your questions in the chat as well. I see we have one already, but let me do a quick recap. So marketing may run you $25 a month. I recommend you get a domain name. I recommend that you get Canva Pro. Everybody has Canva, but Canva Pro is what you're going to need to make the bomb ass graphics. It's going to be what you need to, to pretty much run all aspects of marketing for your business. Your scheduler, I recommend that, I love Calendly. It's $15 a month. Your discovery call, get Google Voice, which is, I believe, a part of your Google Workspace. Your Google Workspace is only $12 a month, but get Google Voice so that you're not always calling from your personal phone. Let's see, Google Workspace, that includes your Gmail, that includes your calendar, Google Meet, Docs, Sheets, Forms, onboarding your client. A higher tier would be HoneyBook, which is, an all-inclusive signing mechanism, as well as it sends you reminders. It's CRM. It's got everything all in one. Get you a signing agent like DocuSign or something like that if you don't have HoneyBook. Or you can use your agents for the signing stuff, but I like to have my own. Intake form, use JotForm. You can get 5 forms for free. And then your transaction management system. That's pretty much the crux of everything. That's the cornerstone of what's going to keep your business coming, is how well you manage the transactions. I wanted to invite you guys, if you guys are new here, if you're catching a replay, I want y'all to come to my next free training. We're going to put the link up here in just a second, but make sure you come to the free training. Also, if you found this helpful, I want y'all to please share this out. If you're catching a replay, share this with 3 friends that you think would benefit from this information. Because really, this can actually be even adapted to other businesses, to be honest with you. But this is how you turn leads into clients. You got to have some good marketing. You have to have a good way for people to reach out to you, and you have to have a good way to nurture and maintain those clients. Just a quick story. There's a really popular colleague of mine, and her photos are always so beautiful of her listings. And I was just like, oh, and so she finally shared who this photographer was. And so I reached out to him and I was just like, hey, I'm interested. He didn't have any link in his bio, anything showing his pricing, anything showing even his services. And so I had to DM him, and and that's actually what his website said, like, please DM me for information. I really don't like that. And so I DM'd him like, hey, I'm interested in, getting information about what you offer. I'm interested in X, Y, and Z. And he was like, well, tell me exactly what you need, and then I can quote you. No, I want to see what you have first, and then let me pick. So to me, for somebody like me, I'm the kind of consumer that I don't like that. I feel like that's unprofessional. So for me, not that I would never use him, because his work is great, but I feel like that is a barrier to entry, is when if I have to do a lot of work up front, if I have to call and talk to you first before I can see anything about your business, I'm likely not going to do it, because to me, that's a barrier for a consumer like me. I don't want to talk on the phone. So anyway, you got to have your client journey really airtight so that you don't risk having that kind of barrier for potential clients, because all clients aren't going to be cool with just having kind of bare minimum stuff. So let me get to this question that I saw earlier. Do you have to have the paid version of Calendly to have Zapier work? That's a good question. I feel like you do, because before this, before we met this time, I went to look at Calendly's pricing schedule, and I saw on the basic one that it had integrations grayed out. So I'm not sure if you can or you can't, but I don't recommend basic for the TC business anyway. Because from what I saw with the basic, and even because the whole purpose of Canva is automations, and the basic doesn't have any automations. So I don't recommend that. I'm going to go ahead and pin this comment this at the top. That's the link to our next free training. So make sure you sign up if you guys are catching the replay. If I don't have any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and head out. This was just supposed to be kind of a quick little meeting to kind of show my face. I'm trying to go live every week on Thursdays. So that's my commitment right now. So I want to be able to bring value. So if there's anything that you want me to cover, make sure you put it in the comments, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.